Football is on the brink of a much-anticipated return in England, but Manchester United forward Marcus Rashford is dominating headlines today for a very good reason. Thanks to his open letter to UK MPs, more than 1 million children in England will be able to claim free school meal vouchers during the summer holidays.
During the coronavirus lockdown, the government is providing vouchers to families whose children qualify for free meals, but it had insisted this wouldn't continue outside of term time. But Rashford's campaign convinced Downing Street to reverse that decision.
But let's go back to the EPL's Project Restart. Following in the footsteps of Germany's Bundesliga and La Liga in Spain, the Premier League returns tonight, which means football fans in our part of the world will be setting their alarm clocks to be up in the wee hours of Thursday morning.
Among them will be Neil Humphreys, a resident sports columnist with the new paper. Neil, it's great to have you with us. Let's start with the positives. How good does it feel to have Premier League football back for clubs, for players, for fans, especially those in Singapore?
Oh, it's been wonderful, guys. Absolutely wonderful. I mean, finally, I have a reason to get up in the morning, to shave my beard. I have a reason for my existence. It's wonderful. And look, you need it, I need it. Singapore needs it. We've had 3 months of COVID-19 situation. Everybody knows that. 3 months since the EPL originally shut down. And now, for the next 6 weeks, we have 92, count them, 92 live games crammed into 6 weeks of pure escapism. And we need it. I was one of those who wrote more than once that we shouldn't null and void this season. Delay it, postpone it, wait whether it's 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, or even 6 months. But we shouldn't postpone. Why? Because we needed a bit of hope. We needed that little smidgen of hope, something to look forward to, and we need a bit of closure. And now we've got it. 6 weeks of pure escapism. Couldn't come back at a better time.
On that note, Neil, what you talked about, escapism, phase 2 in Singapore, of course, starts on Friday, but live music and TV will not be allowed in all F&B outlets, and I suppose that includes live football matches as well. So would that be a huge change in how fans here consume football then?
Yes, but I think we're used to it. Look, if you'd have said to me 3 months ago, I'd be queuing up in a supermarket wearing a mask, looking like the Winter Soldier, standing a metre behind everybody else, I wouldn't have believed you. But perspectives change, perspectives shift, and we make do. It's the best of the situation. So yes, we'll just retreat back into our homes. We'll watch the majority of the games in the comfort of our own homes, with our families, with our fellow mad Manchester United parents or children or Liverpool fans, whatever the case may be. But here's the thing to think about, right? Here's the thing to think about. You've got 92 live games being spread out across a very intense 6 week period. So there's going to be games early in the evening, there's going to be games at midnight, there's going to be games at 4 a.m. in the morning. You'd have to live in a pub or a hawker centre if you wanted to watch them all anyway. So the majority of the games will be watched at home, safely, with the families. And I'll tell you something now, you talk about atmosphere, right? The moment Liverpool win that title, you're going to hear a roar in your housing estate, in your HDB flat, in your condo, in your landed property, in your street. You're going to hear that kampong spirit roar like you've never heard across Singapore when Liverpool wins the title. So frankly, it doesn't matter where you watch the game.
Now, Neil, a new normal, that's a phrase frequently bandied right now, and the Premier League is no exception. Socially distanced celebrations, a ban on pre-match handshakes, making do without ball boys, and most obviously playing in an empty stadium. Has the soul been sucked out of the beautiful game, and how much getting used to will this take?
Oh, that's a complicated question. I mean, some people may say the soul was sucked out of the game a long time ago. Look, there's 3 reasons why the EPL is being rushed back. Money, money, and money. Okay, so let's not kid ourselves. There's almost £1 billion at stake here in potential lost TV revenues that EPL clubs would have to return to TV broadcasters if the games did not continue. If it was all about morale and escapism, then the Scottish Premier League would be continuing, the French Premier League, the Dutch football, and even the lower leagues of English football. but they've all been cancelled. The EPL is continuing primarily because of money, because they don't want to pay back the TV revenue. But that said, no, it won't be the same. There'll be no crowd. It'll be quieter. It'll be a more sanitized, clinical version of the game. But it's the best we have at the moment, and we'll just make do. Some football in a different version is better than no football.
Right, well, fingers crossed when the league starts, but there's a very fine line between Project Restart and Project Regret, shall we say. Some players are vocally against restarting the league, but the English FA have responded with mass testing to quell these fears. On the surface, it seems all systems are good to go, but do you foresee any pitfalls in the resumption of the EPL?
That is actually a fantastic question because it has a very complicated, uncomfortable answer. Primarily, we forget sometimes that the English Premier League is set in England. I know it's a global game, but the clue is in the title. It's the English Premier League, a country that still has one of the highest death tolls in the world, among the highest death toll rates in the world, high infection rates still. And we cannot escape the fact that though in Singapore, we're very excited that it's returning, on the day that the EPL returns, the British government announced 233 deaths. That's daily deaths in the UK. So my fear is this, and I've written this before. I knew that the EPL will start, but I'm still, even today, not entirely sure it will finish. Why? Because we're going to face a potentially very difficult moral question at one point or another, which is this. If the games are continuing safely, and they will be safe, but the death toll in the UK, in the country where the league is set, does not decrease rapidly in the next 6 weeks, we're going to have a very difficult question to answer. Are we comfortable watching this game in a country where the death toll is still so high? That's going to be a very complicated question that we may have to answer in the coming weeks. Hopefully not, but we'll see.
Definitely. Now, Neil, on to the champions-elect Liverpool. You're expecting cheers, you mentioned earlier on, in our neighbourhoods when they win the title. Liverpool have waited 30 years and then have been forced to wait a little longer. Surely there's no stopping the Reds, but will this win feel hollow in a sense, given the current circumstances?
No, absolutely not. I think the football that Liverpool played in the start of the season, right up until mid-March when the season was postponed, was just scintillating. Beautiful. Jurgen Klopp's Gegen pressing, fast, adventurous, attacking and counter-attacking football. It's been some of the finest, most fastest, most frenetic, blood and guts football we've seen in a long time. No, I don't think this talk about asterisks and it'll taint it in some way. No, they'll win the title fair and square. And we need Liverpool to win the title, particularly in Singapore, because for 30 years we've had to listen to Liverpool fans and the 30-year monkey on the back that they've carried around like Quasimodo for 30 years. So please, Liverpool, please, for Singapore, for Southeast Asia, please wrap up the title so we don't have to hear any more from Liverpool supporters. But seriously, I want Liverpool to win. They thoroughly deserve it. And I don't think their eventual title will be tarnished in any way. It'll be a magnificent, well-deserved achievement.
Well, it's been a pleasure to speak with you, Neil. Thank you so much for taking time to speak with us.